Hi everybody, I'm Giuseppe Abate, a PhD candidate in Innovation, Technologies and New Materials for Arts at the Naples Academy of Fine Arts. My PhD research is a reflection on the consumer society through the image and the history of dog. In my view, dog is a very interesting animal because on one hand, it's a product that we made alongside the history to serve different purposes. But today, it's an extraordinary consumer because of us, of course. So nowadays we see an enormous amount of trash and leftovers that before we've never seen. So part of my research has been to gather a lot of dog fur and to work on it, to reshape it into wool and into felt. The final goal of my PhD is to create a body of artworks, each of which could be an expression of my theories, of my studies about consumer society related with dogs. And on the other hand, every work would be an actual proof of what can be done with something that we used to consider only trash.
My name is Leonardo Ruvolo. I'm PhD candidate at Abana, Accademia di Belle Arti di Napoli, in the class of Copyright Law and Cultural Economy. This research has given me the possibility to bridge in between two frameworks I've been living in the last 10 years. One is my educational framework as a jurist and lawyer, and the other one is the one of practitioner in the field of curatorial studies. What is interesting the most for me in this process is following the distributed and collective agencies in the field. So eventually my methodology is based on fieldwork that is always interesting in following people rather than understanding what is the hierarchical and contractual scheme behind a production. In this effort, I build a system that is a model that I call the super agency that allows you to track multiple and distributed authorship in collective work, usually collected and gathered into audiovisual and digital archive. In doing this, I'm more interested in the relational value than the contractual scheme behind, because sometimes it's very rigid and restrictive and not taking in consideration a lot of cooperative, non-human, more than human effort behind a work itself. No? And so this tool allows you to mapping and visualize differently what is a catalog of an archive and what are the human and more than human, non-human effort behind.
Hello, I'm Gloria Boero and I'm a paper conservator graduate of Brera Academy in 2024. I started my PhD program here at Brera. Its main focus are the historical collections preserved here at Brera Academy, looking at paper materials in a special period, the one that goes from 1850 to 1925, when major technical changements and material choices vary a lot. What we have here is the historical library, the historical archive, the photo archive, and the prints and drawings cabinet. So what I'm doing is to select some of the objects which are really interesting and where I can find suppliers and retailers of this period, and analyze their content, but also their materials. So paper is considered as a visual source for contents, but also for the characterization of paper features. What we can see here is an example of how we can connect different Brera Academy historical collections through paper supports. For example, here there's a drawing realized by students in 1901. And here we have Von Willer, which is a recurrent supplier at Brera Academy for different kinds of paper, letter paper, drawing paper. So we can find it here at the printing and drawing cabinets, but also in the historical archive. Another example is this photographic album, where we can find album prints. So the main focus is really linking different Brera Academy collections through paper products and services, and also to study the entrepreneurial history of these suppliers and the technological investments they made during that period.
Hi, my name is Andrea Camiolo. I am a second-year PhD candidate at the Academy of Fine Arts of Catania in the program Science for Artistic Production and Cultural Heritage. My research is titled Trajectories and Relation of Generative Lens-Based Images, Truth and Post-Photography in the Age of AI. In my work, I focus on how these AI-generated images are transforming photography. More specifically, my research asks how pseudo-photographic images are redefining the concept of indexicality, which is traditionally understood as the direct link between a photograph and reality. Methodologically, my research combines a theoretical approach with a practice-based research. On one side, I work with theoretical text on post-photography and visual culture. On the other side, I develop my own artistic practice, creating new images that look like documentary or archival material, but that are actually generated or manipulated. In conclusion, my research is focused on how these new kind of images are transforming the way we produce, share, and trust photographs.